Best Soccer Show post-game, USA 2, Azerbaijan 0. They found some goals. They created a little bit of opportunity for themselves.
Made it sound like change in a pocket. They found some goals.
Found them. Mixed Diskerud. Well, they found two guys on the bench who came in and scored some goals. Mixed Diskerud with the first, Aaron Johansson with the second. We got to find a nickname for these guys. Both of them Scandinavian. We got to find some combination.
Hans and Franz.
Well, weren't they German? Hans and Franz.
They were German, yeah, or Austrian.
Yeah, 951. You're on the air.
All right. Hi guys, it's Daniel from Paris. I got two things to say really quick.
Do it.
First of all,
sorry. Go ahead.
I think Davis and Chandler are garbage. Not to be mean or anything.
Jason Davis, Brad Davis.
When you put that sad song on when Donovan got cut from the team, you made me cry a little bit.
Oh man, I appreciate.
Damn, back some memories, man.
That's inappropriate.
That was for Jared, by the way, not for you. The inappropriate is for Jared. Well, look, I actually
playing with my emotions, man.
I actually thought Brad Davis was pretty good. I mean, this is the fundamental problem with soccer. Two people can watch the exact same game, the exact same performance, and draw different conclusions. Not only did Brad Davis assist on the goal for Aaron Johansson, I'm sorry, Mixed Diskerud. Well, no, it was Aaron Johansson, the second one, right?
Yeah.
Not only did he do that, I thought he was playing at a higher speed, playing a higher speed of thought than anybody else had been in the entire game to that point. Now, I don't know if that's because he was fresher or everybody else had slowed down. But again, I was struck again in that second half, Jared, by the appearance of a team that was fatigued. It looked like a fatigued team to me.
Yeah, I think Jermaine Jones more than anyone. You could see it at the end. I don't think he had anything left. It makes you. I'll say it overall too. I think you're right. I think it looked weary overall. I think a lot of guys looked off speed. Yedlin did not look off speed. That guy has speed to burn no matter what, and also has youth on his side. Timothy Chandler. The caller mentions Timothy Chandler, and I get where he's coming from on that, but I also think Timothy Chandler, in a game where he was always going to be asked to do more in offense than defense, is hurt by having Brad Davis in front of him because of the way Brad Davis chooses to play. He's a winger. He wants to be wide, which takes Timothy Chandler out of the offense.
And Timothy Chandler is not left-footed. He is highly right-footed, and to be in that position and being playing on the left-hand side didn't make a lot of sense then. Daniel, you got anything else, man?
Yeah, I thought Johnson looked pretty good out there.
I think Johnson was one of the better players on the day. I think we can all agree on that.
I like how he connected with Bedoya. It was really nice.
Yeah. Same here. Thanks for the phone call, man. 905, you're on the air.
Oh, hey, guys. It's Vince.
Hey, Vince.
hey, Jason, and hey, Jared. Anyhow, just quickly, I pointed out halftime, man, we needed you guys needed the Scandinavian power, and it happened. Just a couple of things. Klinsmann, he makes our head scratch simply because of these choices. Like you said, Chandler is very right-footed. I assumed they would switch when he got subbed on. That wasn't the case. Then he brought on Yedlin, so essentially Chandler is going to play on the left. I don't know what that first caller was smoking. It's probably some good stuff because I thought Davis was great. It was probably his best performance. In the shirt. Obviously, Alexi Lalas right now is pointing it out. You can't rely on set pieces for everything.
No.
But it's nice to have that weapon, to take it out of your holster when you need it. I think it's Maxi Rodriguez on Twitter. He says Josie's like an anonymous office worker. As long as he doesn't do anything bad, that's good. And I don't think he had his best. He was good in the first half. In the second half, he kind of tailed off a bit. I'm guessing just finding his legs and everything. But, I wonder how he's going to do against Turkey. We'll find out very soon, simply because they want him to be that target man. He's playing in a two-striker setup now. And, there's a lot of things that need working out. But you guys did point it out earlier. This team did seem that they were a bit tired from Klinsmann overworking him.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. And the thing about Josie, Jared, is he in the second half, I didn't notice this in the first half. In the second half, being pulled out very wide, ended up in a lot of wide spaces, playing a more Hercules Gomez style of striker, and that was after Aaron Johansson's introduction for Chris Wondolowski. So I don't know what tactically was happening there, but it seemed that every time you picked your head up, Josie Altidore is trying to isolate one-on-one with somebody on the wing. Couple of moments he had that were okay, but for the most part, it didn't work. 832, you're on the air.
Hey guys, this is Anand from Houston. I just want to say that I'm glad we got the result, but the performance was needs improvement. I'm sure we can all agree on that. But my question is, do you think we can see Beckerman come in instead of Jones? I think he solidifies things, and is there a chance that Nick starts in a World Cup game?
The first question, I don't think so. And I think part of that, Jared, is that Jermaine Jones is the more athletic, more active, more he can play emergency soccer a little bit better than Kyle Beckerman can.
Let's say what it is, though. He's Jurgen Klinsmann's boy. That's his boy.
Yeah, that's part of it.
And the other part of his question was, would Mixed Disc start a game? And I don't think he's going to be the preferred starter in any game, but it's a likely scenario you could end up with Michael Bradley on 2 yellow cards in the first round, and then you would look to someone like a Mixed Discaroo to try to get that same kind of playmaking ability out of midfield.
Yeah, I agree with you. Got anything else, man?
I think some of the weight of Jones's passes were very heavy sometimes. Like Bradley was receiving the ball, and then he had to take time to control it, and then guys would be on top of him all very quickly.
Again, I think heavy legs had a major role to play in just how dull they looked. I mean, the opposite of sharp is dull. They were dull out there. The passes were not connecting. We've seen this happen before. Now, the fear is, because I think that it'll get better over the next 2 warm-up games, but you want to head into that game in Natal against Ghana ready to go, because there have been situations where the U.S. men's national team has gone into warm weather environments, and that has sapped their energy, and that is what leads to bad passes, loose balls, bad first touches, and you can't have that. You can't have it.
I hope Jurgen Klinsmann takes really, really notes how his team performed. And this is the first time we've seen this coming out, what we feel have been hard training sessions coming into a game. Ghana will kill you with their speed if you do have this kind of dead leg performance. You can't give up a ball. You saw what happened in 2010 when you give up a ball out of midfield. All they need is an opportunity. You can't have the sluggish start, the sluggish legs, and the poor touches on your passing, and they'll punish you very, very quickly in the first game of the World Cup.
Yep. Thanks for the phone call. 919, you're on the air.
I think, personally, I thought this is Michael Bradley's worst game that I can remember in a little while. Is there any chance that if he played like that at the World Cup, that the U.S. maybe doesn't point against anybody?
Well,
I don't think he's going to be bad across 3 games. I mean, he actually perked up a little bit and was better the last 20 minutes, which is odd. Maybe he got a second win.
Let me put your own question to you real quick. Just rephrase it differently. So in roughly, 50, 60 games that Michael Bradley's played, this is the one that you can think of that he hasn't performed up to your expectations, and then you're going to ask if he's going to act like this at the World Cup?
Going through my head trying to think of the last time I saw him play like that, and I couldn't think of a recent game where he had done that.
All the more reason to
all the more reason.
all the more reason to believe that he will get it right at some point. And again, I can only make this. I'm going to keep making this point. I know it's a dead horse already. We've got 20 minutes left in this post-game show. Heavy legs, fatigue, coming out of an intense 13-day training period, 12, 13 days, especially when you consider that Jurgen Klinsmann, and this is definitely a criticism of Klinsmann, at least coming from me. He set them up with a 30-man roster. He told people, you are in a competition for jobs. He apparently always knew what he was going to go with. He decides to drop the bombshell. Now, better he get this out of the way now with only a couple of days, a week and a half into camp, rather than draw out a 30-man roster and competition and heavy legs all the way up until June 2nd when he has to make his choices. But it is troubling to watch them come out after all of this. He needs to get this right. There's got to be some kind of balance. You can do all the work you want in training, but if that impacts how you play on the field during the game, then what's the point? 619, you're on the air.
Yeah, I think you're just tapping into what I was thinking, that Klinsmann's got to get this right. Aside from talking specific rosters and choices and how good each player is on their own team, I think what was just evident tonight was, man, where's the chemistry with any 1, 2, or 3 players? Where is it? Where is just something you can feed off of? It felt like 11 islands out there for the majority of the night. Maybe not all night, but for the majority of the night.
Let me
scary.
bring up one thing for you, though. this is a team that all week long planned and practiced with Clint Dempsey as a focal point of the offense. And then an hour before kickoff, you have to change your entire game plan. I think you need to take that into account when you think about the rhythm of the team and how the combinations, which is what you exactly brought up. Dempsey's a guy that wants to combine in midfield. He's going to make himself available, and that's a big change to the game plan.
Chris Wondolowski is not a guy you're playing through. He's just not going to be that guy. Thanks for the phone call. 252, you're on the air.
Hey, guys, this is Drew from the Outer Banks of North Carolina.
What's up, OBX?
This is the first time calling in.
Did you say the Outer Banks of North Carolina?
Answered.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but the broadcasters were saying it. 1 Johansson, 0 Wando. What do you guys think? Where does he fit in with Josie and Clint in the World Cup?
This was what Jared was saying ahead of the show. By the way, the Outer Banks is like a beach area in North Carolina,
is there
Jared.
An inner bank?
I'm not aware of an Inner Banks, Drew, but there is definitely an Outer Banks. This is a big vacation destination here on the East Coast. Anyway, you were saying this before the game, Jared, that to you it didn't make sense to replace Dempsey with Wondolowski because it seemed that Aaron Johansson would be the better off striker with Josie Altidore. Now, in the second half, I don't even know when Aaron Johansson came on and was playing with Josie Altidore. I'm not even sure we got a taste of what that would look like from the outset because, again, Josie was being pulled out wide on a regular basis, and that was leaving Johansson in the middle. Now he was playing the point. He was playing, he was playing the post rather a little bit more than even Altidore probably was, except maybe higher up the field. I mean, I don't know. What do you make of the way they played in the second half? And can you conceive of a possibility where Klinsmann says, my guy to play with Josie is Aaron Johansson?
Well, I think the way that Brad Davis likes to play is more conducive to pulling a striker out wide when they need to combine. If you're going to combine with Brad Davis, where are you going to combine with him at?
Yeah,
wide. If you have Alejandro Bedoya and Graham Zusi as your midfielders on the outside, where are you going to combine from them? Further inside. That's where they want to play. So I think there's a part of it, and that's not a knock on Brad Davis. That's just where he's going to, if you're going to combine with him, that's where he's going to be. He's going to be wide, which I think brings the striker out wide, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because now he pulls a center defender with him, and Aaron Johansson has more one-on-one attention if you can free up someone off a give and go with Brad Davis and Josie Altidore, which they tried numerous times.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of moments. Obviously, DeAndre Yedlin's another player that we have to talk about his introduction into this game.
Pretty good defensively too.
He was pretty good defensively. I mean, I don't know that game is going to give you any sense of how DeAndre Yedlin might play in a World Cup match because at one point, Brad Davis plays a far post cross, and the guy that he's trying to pick out on the other end is DeAndre Yedlin. DeAndre Yedlin is basically parked in the opponent's final third when the ball had been all the way back upfield. And I'm not saying that that's I don't know. I mean, again, I don't know.
It's right for this game.
Yeah, it was. But does that mean anything when you go to the World Cup and you're unlikely to have the opportunity to push him?
He can only play the team in front of him. And the team in front of him tonight was only going to get credit for negative things he did. If things he did positively, you're going to say, oh, this is Azerbaijan, as to where they're playing. He won't be able to do that in a regular game. All the things we're saying right now. But only if he had messed up, we would have had no problem holding him accountable to the poor things he may have done. But anything good DeAndre Yedlin was going to do tonight is going to be, but was the guys he was defending that good? Oh, of course he's supposed to be in the offensive third. That's where the game's being played.
I know. That's the stupid thing about these games. I mean, it's the thing that kills me about these games. It's Azerbaijan. And again, because nobody has heard of Azerbaijan, we all jump to these conclusions. But it's a double-edged sword because if you say, well, it's a friendly and they're working things out and clearly there were some heavy legs, then you're just making excuses. It obviously can be that the United States didn't play well, but it's not the disaster that it may have been. And it can also be that, heavy legs played a part and whatever sharpness that may or may not come wasn't there. Again, if you believe that this is exactly the same team you're going to see when they line up against Ghana in a couple of weeks' time, then yeah, we should all be scared. I don't think that's going to be the case. And we got 2 games left in the Sindoff series to find out, Jared. 714, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Bill from Anaheim.
Hey, Bill.
Do you guys see a scenario where Klinsmann actually drops Josie and goes with Johansson and Dempsey up front as a different look? Or is just Josie so locked in that it doesn't matter how well he actually plays.
If he's going to do it, I think he does it in the next 2 games, and if it establishes 2 things. One, you get to see what that lineup looks like and what that combination can do, and get some intelligence out of it. And 2, it sends a shot across the bow to Josie that, hey, you're not safe.
Absolutely.
Jurgen Cousins big on that kind of. He dropped Josie from an entire team for a few months when he thought he wasn't reaching his potential. So is it beyond him to sit him for a game, especially when he can easily spin it off to Josie and not kill his confidence by saying, "Oh, I just needed to see a different look," or "Oh, I didn't want to run you too hard 2 games in a row." He has all these different ways of coddling the guy after this, but secretly he can be working things out for contingencies.
I agree with that. Absolutely. Anything else?
And is Bertie Vogts, was he worth us playing Azerbaijan?
I'm sorry?
Bertie Vogts, I mean, we got him essentially, and we played Azerbaijan. Is he going to be worth it that we had to play this team?
That's like what we got in the trade or something?
It's a good question. Is Bertie Vogts' role in U.S. soccer going to pay off and make this game worth the squeeze? Because, again, this was not the best competition, certainly not the best analog for anything that they're going to see in Brazil. That's a good question. I don't know.
I don't see why. I guess I don't believe that we can't have Bernie Vogts without the friendly. I think they got the friendly because that's the team that was available and willing to come to the States, and they can make it happen.
Maybe. I don't know. It's not the question of whether or not Bertie Vogts can benefit the United States. The question is whether or not they are behind on their preparations because they played Azerbaijan. That's the question. 417, you're on the air.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes. I want to talk about the game. I'm a little concerned. I'm still concerned about that back line again, because I was watching, Jeff Cameron, and some of his passes just were a little off.
Jeff Cameron?
I think you may be thinking of Matt Beasler because I thought Cameron was fine. Solid, nothing spectacular, did well.
I'm sorry, I meant to say Beasler. I'm sorry, Beasler. He made 2 bad passes that, if it was against teams like Ghana and in Portugal, they would have hopped on and scored a goal.
Well, it's not a given, but yeah, he put his team in bad spots a couple of times with some poor passes. And
yet, Jason, between the 2 of us, do either of us think that there's any combination of the 3 fullbacks that doesn't include Beasler that's going to start any of these games?
The 3 center backs? No. Beasler is going to be Beasler's. It went from Omar Gonzalez being the rock to now I think Matt Beasler's the rock. And what I mean by that is he's the one that's not being moved out of his position. Now, there will need to be some sort of reckoning over his performance tonight, and I hope Jurgen and the coaching staff sits down with him and says, what was the deal? What was happening? Because I'm sure Matt will tell you, I was bad. I'm sure Matt Beasler would say those passes weren't good enough.
And he's okay in the second half.
It depends, I think. Well, things slowed down in the second half. Things were made a little bit easier for the U.S. in the second half. There wasn't as much pressure there. In those moments when Matt Beasler's playing out of the back and had a little bit of pressure, he didn't handle it well. And you're going to face Ghana with 2 athletic strikers who are going to put pressure on you. There's going to be, you can't risk that mistake. As you just said, Jared, you can't have a Ricardo Clark moment in the World Cup.
That's true. I'm still worried about Beasler. I still couldn't believe he made the team too.
Wow. Okay. Well, I appreciate the phone call.
I feel.
All right.
I mean, I didn't think Beasler deserved to be there. In that final 23-man roster at all.
Okay.
Who do you take instead? Goodson?
One man's opinion. I'm going to let you go. I don't think there was any question of whether or not Matt Beasler deserved to be in the team or had a place in this team. It was, again, we are working.
He may have been my top center back going into the 23, to be honest with you.
This is why some people have questioned the lack of experience in the squad. Now, you might not have been able to do anything at center back unless you were going to keep Jay DeMerit around, unless you were going to keep. Well, I mean, you had Clarence Goodson, who didn't play, I don't believe, in 2010, but was there. You're not going to keep Carlos Bocanegra. That ship had sailed. Really, Aguchi Onyewu didn't do enough, I guess.
Chris Schuler couldn't get into the team because he was injured too much.
I'm not talking about guys with no experience. I'm talking about you moved on from guys with experience to guys with 0 experience at this level in this at a World Cup level, and this is why people were talking about it. Can they succeed without it? Yeah, sure. it's one of those things that cuts both ways. If you failed, you go,
Klinsmann gets this. Klinsmann gets this respect because he did this already with Germany. He took a baby squad and they made the semifinals. I mean,
it's a different level of talent. It's a different level.
But I mean, doesn't change the fact that he knows that he's done it before. Now, whether or not he's maybe translating too much of that or putting too much of that into the U.S. team, because like you said, it's a different level of talent. It's the talent pool is different, but it doesn't change the fact he's done it. So in his mind, he's confident.
All right, 908, you're on the air.
How's it going? It's Vlad from North Carolina.
What's going on?
I thought Cameron and Beasler were fine. Actually, even Beasler, I don't really whatever he might have. I didn't even see those bad passes. But I mean, we'll revisit these comments when they play, Turkey, Nigeria, and then ultimately in the World Cup. But I mean, one guy who I don't think should be really seeing the field right now is Omar Gonzalez, because frankly, I don't think he is nearly 100%, despite what I think they said. You look at that ESPN Insider thing in the interview, it almost seems that he even said he has to almost lie to the coaches about his health, because otherwise he's not making the plane. So I honestly think he's like 50%. And that first tackle where he made right after the half started, the second half started, and the guy could have, like, if it was like a different kind of team and they were looking to get a penalty kick, like he missed the ball pretty badly, and he was looking kind of sluggish. So I don't think we should even risk it with Gonzalez as a center back.
I didn't have any issue with him in this game.
I didn't have any issue. I mean, he played a half. I thought he was fine. Nothing spectacular to get. But
it doesn't change many people's minds about what they already feel about him in general over a number of games, though.
Because it seems like the impression from like the interview and just this weird feeling that I have, I just would be more comfortable if just Cameron and Beasler just get in there.
Careful how much you believe from reality shows.
Thanks for the phone call. He clearly brought his bias to the table from the documentary when he stepped in to watch this game. I thought Gonzalez was fine, but I don't think Gonzalez was pressured much either. I don't think Gonzalez had any moments where he was really in a position to be put in a place where he might make a mistake. I mean, there are a couple of dicey clearances in the second half. That's a back line issue across the board. I don't know if that's just Omar Gonzalez or Matt Beasler or Timothy Chandler or Fabian Johnson or whoever was in there at the time. 803.
Hey, it's Bob. How are you?
Hey, Bob.
Hey, I'm getting a little nervous just because since the November friendlies, Scotland, Austria, and Ukraine, we look sluggish in all of them. In Mexico, we look good. And the other observation I have is there was one player who came out of camp without heavy legs, and that was Landon Donovan. I'm out.
That's the first time he has been mentioned on the postgame show. It took 24 minutes for Bob.
Let me also put one thing. He mentioned the Ukraine game and this game and one other one as looking sluggish. If I remember correctly, all three of the games he mentioned are first games out of a camp scenario.
First game out of a camp. There are a couple other things, mitigating factors. The Ukraine game was half the team. Mexico
It's no shock. We've been talking about this for a long time. Jurgen Klinsmann runs his guys. He runs them.
Does.
I mean, he preaches conditioning so much, you would think they'd be in better condition.
I think they are in good condition, but if you are if you're running, and then you stop a day before a game, is that enough time to recover? I mean, I'm just saying. 248, you're on the air.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well.
I just want to say I feel like Fabian Johnson, we're not getting the most out of his abilities at fullback. I mean, if we're going to bring Timmy Chandler into the squad, you got to play him at right back, and then you got to move Fabian Johnson to that left midfield position.
I agree. I agree on the surface of it. Certainly the Chandler portion we just talked about. I don't know how you justify playing Timmy Chandler at left back when he's going to want to put the ball on his right foot the entire. I mean, you already got a one-footed player over there in Brad Davis when Chandler was playing in this game. Brad Davis entered the game, had an impact, had a chance, and tried to get on his left foot and botched it. I mean,
there is something to be said, though, too, that you have two guys with two opposite feet. Davis is going to stay wide, allows Timmy Chandler, when he goes forward, to actually cut inside more. So you do give a little bit of two different dynamics to it. But
maybe
he's in the way of Brad Davis would be in the way of where a normal fullback likes to run.
Yeah, but you still have to get. You still have to face up to the ball, and really, again,
it's overthinking it. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's being overthought.
It does. I mean, again, I think everybody would be more comfortable with Timmy Chandler on the right, but as we saw. Why he flip-flopped those guys? I know Fabian Johnson.
To F with us.
I know Fabian Johnson has been playing well at right back in Germany. It was down the stretch of the season, but again, I don't know. James wants to know our man of the match. You got a man of the match? My man of the match is the wind, because the wind was a major factor. Don't think it wasn't. How many balls looked like they were heading the right direction, and the last minute somebody's having to check back 10 yards?
There wasn't really any guys that played the full match. I think there were the difference. I'd say someone along the line. Who changed the game? Discrew changed the game. Brad Davis changed the game. Brad Davis changed the game.
You are loath to say it, my friend.
he changed the game. I don't know if he was the best player out there, but he changed the game,
I think Aaron Johansson was very good during his stretch. I don't know that he played well enough or played long enough that I want to give him man of the match. Mix was obviously good in his moments. The interesting thing to consider again with these substitutions is you have an Azerbaijani team that is already gassed. They made a couple of their own changes, but how much does that really inject enough energy where we can judge Diskerud and Johansson and these guys that came in late fairly? Because you have to take into account that Azerbaijan, that Diskerud...
Oh, you know who I give for man of the match? I give Fabian Johnson.
Okay, Fabian Johnson, Jared DuBois, man of the match. 409, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Colin. I just want to, since you're talking about man of the match, just want to call and say Brad Davis is definitely my man of the match for this game.
All right. Anything else?
That's all.
All right, Brad Davis.
Are you from Houston?
Are you from Houston? He's gone. He dipped. He didn't want to answer your question.
Yeah.
651, you're on the air.
Yo, it's Ben from Minnesota. Jones and Dozy, muscle ball out. Johansson, Diskerud, brain ball in. It's our only chance. I'm out.
Okay. I mean, I think you're going to need...
That's a hot sports take right there. That guy came prepared.
Yeah. I think what I want to see from Josie Altidore, I want to see him get angry. Now, it's going to be difficult because he's not going to always get the benefit of the doubt. You're going to end up with a lot of foul calls. If he's leaning on guys, you might be in danger of ruining chances because he gets called for a push or a lean or whatever. But I just feel like he's not playing as aggressively as he can, at least in the first half. I mean, he got better in the second half, but again, a lot of that was because he was picking balls out in wide areas and trying to make things happen and combining a little bit, drifting in, playing with his back to goal wasn't the same. He had a couple of heavy touches.
We also don't know that may have been a crisp by Klinsmann. He may have tactically wanted Josie. Maybe he felt there wasn't enough room in the center. There was a lot of crowding going on. That could have been a tactical change to do that. If that's the case, it worked.
Sure, it did. But again, I'm talking about that first half and the performance he put in the first half when he was supposed to be the guy to hold up play, to make the
I told you in the halftime show, I don't think Josie had a bad first half. I think he did okay. I don't think he was great, but I think he did okay. I think he did a lot of the little things that a striker has to do, just have to get on the board.
All right, that's going to do it for the post-game show. USA 2, Azerbaijan 0. First game for the Sindov series in the books. Give me a number score on the overall performance for the United States, 1 to 10. Jared, do it right now.
1 to 10, that was a 6.5.
All right, for me, that was a 5 at best. But I think they're going to get better, and I have hope for the immediate future. Please go to iTunes, give us a rating and a review. Follow Jay Rodius, follow Davis JSN, follow Best Soccer Show. What else? What else do
follow
I need?
Hey Hayward.
Follow Hey Hayward. Do that. That is good. I don't know why I played that for him, but that seemed appropriate. All right, we're going to go. We'll talk to you guys. We'll probably be back on Sunday. No show on Wednesday night. We'll be back on Sunday, right?
Isn't there a game between now and then?
Wait. Is there a national team game between? What's the next one?
I think it's Friday, isn't it?
Is it Friday? All right, we'll be back on Friday. We'll talk to you guys then. Bye.
Get to the chopper!
Damn, dog, that's in a boat!
I wouldn't be caught dead in a sweater vest.